Welcome to a chapter a day. Confidence is not a personality trait. Confidence is not something you're born with. And confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is a signal you learn to project. Right now, somewhere inside you, there is a version of you who speaks clearly, stands firmly, and walks into rooms without shrinking. That version is not more talented than you. Not smarter. Not luckier. They simply learned how confidence actually works. Here is the truth most people never hear. You don't feel confident and then act confident. You act confident, and the feeling follows. This audiobook will show you how to project confidence even when your hands are shaking, even when your mind is loud, even when self-doubt is screaming. Because confidence is not an emotion. It is a behavioral decision. Charismatic people don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for certainty. They don't wait for approval. They move first. Over the next chapters, you will learn 5 core principles that confident people use every day, often unconsciously, to command respect, influence rooms, and trust themselves under pressure. These principles work whether you're introverted or extroverted, anxious or calm, experienced or just starting out. You will learn how to rewire your body, your voice, your attention, your standards, and your identity. So confidence becomes something you demonstrate, not something you chase. This is not motivation. This is not hype. This is behavioral psychology, applied discipline, and self-trust in motion. By the end of this audiobook, you will no longer be asking, "How do I feel confident?" You will be asking, "What does confidence require of me right now?" And then you will act. Chapter 1. Confidence comes after action, not before. Most people are waiting. Waiting to feel confident. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting for the fear to disappear. And while they wait, their life stays exactly the same. Here is the hard truth, and it's a truth that will change your behavior forever if you let it land. Confidence is not the starting line. Confidence is the finish line. Confidence comes after action, not before. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. Confidence is a reward. Confidence is feedback. Confidence is what shows up after you move. When you wait for confidence, what you are really doing is training hesitation. You are teaching your nervous system that fear is in charge. You are reinforcing the belief that you cannot act unless conditions are perfect. And perfection never arrives. Let's be clear, you are not broken because you don't feel confident. You are human. Fear is normal. Doubt is normal. Uncertainty is normal. But paralysis is learned. Confidence comes after we take action. Say it again. Confidence comes after we take action. Every confident person you admire learned this lesson early, or learned it the hard way. They did not wake up fearless. They woke up willing. Think about performers. Before they walk on stage, their heart is racing. Their mouth is dry. Their mind is loud. And yet they step into the light anyway. Not because they feel confident, but because they move despite discomfort. Think about leaders. Before difficult conversations, they feel tension. They feel the risk. They know the outcome is uncertain. And yet they speak. Not because they are sure, but because they choose responsibility over comfort. Think about athletes. Before competition, they feel pressure. They feel doubt. They feel the weight of expectation. And yet, they step onto the field. Not because fear is gone, but because discipline is stronger. It's not about fearlessness. It's about follow-through. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. That is the formula. It has never changed. Your mind is constantly asking one question. Can I trust you? Every time you act when you said you would, you answer that question with yes. Every time you hesitate, delay, or avoid, you answer with no. This is why the opposite of self-doubt is not confidence. It's self-trust. And self-trust is built through action. You are not your doubts. You are not your fear. You are the one who decides whether to move anyway. Let's dismantle a dangerous myth right now. The myth that confident people feel different before they act. They don't. They feel different after. The feeling follows the behavior. Waiting to feel confident is like waiting to get fit before you go to the gym. The logic is backwards. You go despite feeling weak. You show up despite feeling unprepared. And the strength comes later. It's not about confidence. It's about courage. And courage is not loud. Courage is quiet. Courage says, I'm scared, and I'm going anyway. Here's what hesitation actually does to your brain. Every time you avoid something uncomfortable, your brain interprets that avoidance as proof of danger. It says, good thing we didn't do that. That must have been unsafe. Fear grows stronger. The task grows larger. Your confidence shrinks. But when you act, even imperfectly, your brain receives new data. It says, we survived. That's evidence. That's progress. That's how confidence is built. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. This is not theory. This is neuroscience. This is behavioral conditioning. This is how humans learn. Confidence is not an emotion you wait for. Confidence is a byproduct of movement. So the question is no longer, how do I feel confident? The question becomes, what action am I avoiding? Because avoidance is the real enemy here. Avoidance feels safe in the moment. It feels comfortable. It feels justified. But it quietly erodes your self-respect. Every avoided action sends a message. I don't trust myself to handle this. And that message compounds. But the reverse is also true. Every small action taken despite discomfort sends a different message. I can handle hard things. That message compounds too. This is why confident people start small, but start immediately. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for clarity. They don't wait for certainty. They act, adjust, and act again. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. The real goal is this: become someone who moves first. Let's make this practical. Here is your discipline for this chapter. Stop negotiating with hesitation. When you feel the impulse to delay, don't argue with it. Don't analyze it. Don't justify it. Simply act before the doubt finishes its sentence. Send the email. Make the call. Speak up. Show up. Not perfectly. Not flawlessly. Just decisively. It's not about brilliance. It's about behavior. And here's the part most people miss. The action does not need to succeed to build confidence. It only needs to be taken. Success builds results. Action builds identity. You don't gain confidence by winning. You gain confidence by participating. You are not your doubts. You are the one who acts in their presence. Say this to yourself when fear shows up. Confidence comes after I take action. Say it again. Confidence comes after I take action. This reframes everything. Fear no longer means stop. Fear becomes the signal to move. Because every time you act while afraid, you upgrade your self-image. You become someone who does hard things. Someone who doesn't need perfect conditions. Someone who trusts themselves. And that self-trust, that quiet, grounded self-trust, is far more powerful than surface-level confidence. The opposite of self-doubt is not confidence. It's self-trust. And self-trust is built one action at a time. So let me be direct with you. If your life feels smaller than it should, if you feel capable but constrained, if you know you're holding back, it's not because you lack confidence. It's because you've been waiting for it. Stop waiting. Take the step. Create the evidence. Let confidence catch up. Because confidence does not lead the way. It follows. You've now learned the first and most important rule. Action is the source. But action alone is not enough. Action must be repeated. Action must become reliable. And that requires something deeper than confidence. It requires self-trust. You've learned how confidence is created. Now let's talk about what Insit. Chapter 2. The opposite of self-doubt is self-trust. not confidence. Most people think their problem is confidence. It's not. Confidence is not what collapses first. Confidence collapses after something deeper has already eroded. That deeper thing is self-trust. The opposite of self-doubt is not confidence. The opposite of self-doubt is self-trust. And self-trust has nothing to do with how you feel. It has everything to do with what you do, consistently. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't trust yourself, no amount of confidence will save you. You can hype yourself up. You can repeat affirmations. You can visualize success. But the moment pressure hits, the moment resistance appears, confidence built on feelings disappears. Self-trust does not disappear under pressure. Self-trust holds under pressure. Self-trust is the quiet belief that says, I will do what I said I would do, even when it's inconvenient. That belief is not given. It is earned. And it is earned in the smallest moments of your life. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens self-trust. Every promise you break weakens it. This is why confidence comes after action. But confidence stays only when self-trust exists. You are not your doubts. You are the pattern of your follow-through. Let's get very clear about how self-doubt is created. Self-doubt is not random. Self-doubt is memory. It's your mind remembering all the times you said, I'll do it tomorrow, and didn't. All the times you set a goal and quietly abandoned it. All the times you knew the right action and chose comfort instead. Your brain keeps score. And when a new challenge appears, your mind asks, can I rely on you? If the evidence says no, doubt speaks louder. This is why people who look confident on the outside still feel shaky on the inside. They've built image without integrity. They've practiced appearing strong more than being reliable. Confidence without self-trust is fragile. Self-trust without confidence is powerful. Because confidence is emotional. Self-trust is structural. And structures hold weight. Do what you said you'd do, again and again. That sentence may sound simple. It is not easy, but it is transformative. Self-trust is built through repetition, not intensity. You don't need dramatic breakthroughs. You need boring consistency. Small promises. Kept daily. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you start. Follow through on the uncomfortable task. Not perfectly. Reliably. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They make promises that are too big, too vague, too unrealistic. Then they break them. Over and over again. And each broken promise chips away at self-trust. So here's the discipline. Lower the size of the promise. Raise the standard of keeping it. It's not about ambition. It's about integrity. Integrity is not morality. Integrity is alignment between your words and your actions. And alignment builds trust. Do what you said you'd do, again and again. Let's talk about why this compounds over time. The first time you keep a promise to yourself, it feels small, insignificant, almost pointless. But your brain records it. The second time, it records it again. By the 10th time, a pattern forms. By the 100th time, an identity emerges. You stop asking, can I do this? You start assuming, of course I'll do it. I always do. That assumption is self-trust. And self-trust is what allows confident action under pressure. This is why confidence collapses when self-trust is weak. Because when things get hard, feelings disappear. Motivation fades. Energy drops. And only one thing remains, your history with yourself. If your history says, I quit when it gets uncomfortable, doubt wins. If your history says, I follow through, doubt loses. You are not your doubts. You are your track record. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. The real goal is to become someone who is predictable to themselves. Predictable in effort. Predictable in follow-through. Predictable in standards. That predictability creates safety inside your own mind. And safety is what allows confidence to grow. Let's make this practical. Here is your rule moving forward. Never promise yourself what you're not willing to keep. Stop lying to yourself in the name of optimism. Instead of saying, "I'll work out every day," say, "I'll work out for 10 minutes tomorrow." Instead of saying, "I'll change my whole life," say, "I'll take one uncomfortable action today." Then do it. Do what you said you'd do, again and again. This trains self-trust at the nervous system level. Your body starts to relax because it knows you are dependable. Your mind stops arguing with you because it knows resistance won't work. And that calm, that grounded certainty, is what most people mistake for confidence. But it's not confidence. It's trust. And trust is earned, not imagined. Notice this. The most self-trusting people are not loud about it. They don't announce their goals. They don't seek validation. They don't perform certainty. They simply act. Because they know themselves. They know that when they decide, they follow through. And that knowledge removes internal conflict. There's no debate, no negotiation, no drama, decision, action, completion. This is why self-trust compounds. Each kept promise makes the next one easier. Each follow-through reduces friction. Each act of integrity strengthens identity. You become someone who can be trusted, with bigger goals, harder tasks, greater responsibility. And that's when confidence expands naturally. Confidence comes after we take action. But confidence stays when action becomes reliable. So if you feel stuck, unstable, or inconsistent, don't ask, "How do I feel more confident?" Ask instead, "Where have I stopped trusting myself?" Then rebuild, one promise at a time. Start today. Choose one small action. Decide clearly. Execute fully. No drama. No delay. Do what you said you'd do, again and again. This is the foundation. Without it, confidence crumbles. With it, confidence becomes inevitable. You've learned how action creates confidence. You've learned how self-trust sustains it. Now it's time to look at the first signal the world reads before you ever speak. You've mastered your commitments. Now, let's talk about your presence. Chapter 3. Your body speaks before you do. Before you say a word, you are already communicating. Before logic, before language, before content, your body has spoken. Posture, movement, stillness. These are not details. These are signals. And the uncomfortable truth is this. People believe your body before they believe your words, including you. Your body speaks before you do. You can say all the right things. You can use confident language. You can memorize the perfect script. But if your body is nervous, collapsed, rushed, or scattered, the message underneath your words is uncertainty. And your brain hears that message too. This is why confidence is not just mental. Confidence is physical. Your body teaches your mind how to feel. Say it again. Your body teaches your mind how to feel. Most people try to think their way into confidence. They analyze. They reason. They self-talk. But the body doesn't respond to thoughts first. It responds to position. Your nervous system is constantly asking, "Am I safe? Am I threatened? Am I grounded?" And posture answers that question instantly. When you slouch, collapse your chest, tense your shoulders, fidget your hands, rush your movements, your body sends a clear signal. We are under threat. Your heart rate increases. Your breath shortens. Your mind speeds up. Doubt gets louder, even if your words sound confident. This is why nervous bodies signal uncertainty even when language sounds strong. Confidence comes after we take action, but confidence stays when the body supports it. Let's be direct. Confidence lives in stillness, not stiffness, not rigidity. Stillness. Stillness signals safety. Stillness signals control. Stillness signals authority. Watch anyone you consider confident. They don't rush. They don't fidget. They don't overmove. Their gestures are deliberate. Their posture is open. Their body is calm. That calm is not accidental. It is trained. And here's the part most people miss. You do not need to feel calm to look calm. You can choose calm behaviors first. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. You move your body first. The feeling follows. Your body teaches your mind how to feel. Think about this. When you are anxious, your body curls inward. When you are confident, your body opens outward. The relationship goes both ways. Change the body, and the mind adapts. This is not motivational advice. This is physiology. When you stand tall, slow your breath, relax your shoulders, and ground your feet, your nervous system receives new information. We are stable. And when the nervous system stabilizes, thoughts settle. Doubt quiets. Presence emerges. It's not about pretending. It's about positioning. Here are the 3 pillars of confident body language you must master: posture, movement, and stillness. First, posture. Posture is not about being rigid or standing up straight. It's about alignment. Head over shoulders. Shoulders over hips. Chest open, not puffed. Spine long, not stiff. This posture communicates one thing to your brain: I can handle what's in front of me. Collapsed posture communicates the opposite. So the instruction is simple. Stand like someone who respects themselves. You are not your doubts. You are the one choosing your posture. Second, movement. Nervous movement leaks energy. Excessive gestures, pacing, shifting weight, tapping fingers, all of it signals internal chaos. Confident movement is economical. It is intentional. Every step has a reason. Every gesture has purpose. Slow down. When you slow your movements, you speed up your authority. It's not about moving less. It's about moving on purpose. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. That applies to the body too. Third, stillness. Stillness is the most underused confidence skill. Most people are afraid of it. Silence feels exposed. Stillness feels vulnerable. So they fill space with motion. But stillness is power. Stillness says, I'm comfortable here. Stillness says, I don't need to rush. Stillness says, I belong. And your brain believes it. Your body teaches your mind how to feel. Let's talk about why this matters for self-trust. Remember, the opposite of self-doubt is not confidence. It's self-trust. Every time your body collapses under pressure, it sends a message: I can't handle this. Every time your body stays grounded, it sends a different message: I've got this. That message builds self-trust at a subconscious level. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to stop physically amplifying it. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They let their body react automatically to discomfort. Shoulders up, breath shallow, pace quickens, voice tightens, and then they wonder why confidence disappears. It's not about mindset. It's about mechanics. Here is your discipline for this chapter. When discomfort shows up, slow the body down. Not the situation, not the conversation, the body. Plant your feet. Lower your shoulders. Breathe deeper and slower. Even one conscious breath can interrupt the fear loop. Your body teaches your mind how to feel. Let me be clear. This is not acting confident. This is training confidence. Confidence comes after we take action. And controlling your body is an action. A powerful one. When you take control of posture, movement, and stillness, you stop being at the mercy of your emotions. You lead them instead. And leadership, of self or others, always starts in the body. You are not your nervous system's first reaction. You are the one who can regulate it. Say this to yourself the next time you feel anxiety rising. Slow body. Clear mind. Again, slow body. Clear mind. Over time, this becomes automatic. Your baseline shifts. Calm becomes familiar. Presence becomes natural. And people respond to that. They don't know why they trust you. They just do. Because your body told them it was safe to. So remember this as you move forward. You don't need louder words. You need a quieter body. You don't need to convince. You need to embody. Confidence is not something you announce. It's something you signal. You've learned how action creates confidence. You've learned how self-trust sustains it. You've learned how the body communicates it. Now there's one more trap that destroys confidence faster than fear, doubt, or posture. Noise. Over-explaining. Overperforming. Overcompensating. You've mastered your presence. Now, let's master your restraint. Chapter 4. Confidence is calm, not loud. Most people think confidence is energy. It's not. Confidence is control. True confidence doesn't rush. It doesn't shout. It doesn't explain itself to be accepted. Confidence is calm, and calm is power. Here is the mistake people make. When they feel uncertain inside, they try to compensate on the outside. They talk more, move more, explain more, prove more, and in doing so, they give away the very authority they're trying to gain. Loudness often masks insecurity. Calmness signals authority. Say it again. Calmness signals authority. Think about the people you naturally respect. They don't dominate the room with volume. They don't fill every silence. They don't rush to justify themselves. Their presence slows the space around them. That's not accidental. That's regulation. Confidence comes after we take action. But confidence is communicated through calm. And calm starts with restraint. Let's talk about unnecessary motion. Unnecessary motion is nervous energy leaking out. Fidgeting, shifting, gesturing without intention. These movements are not harmless. They signal urgency, anxiety, and a need for approval. Even if your words are strong, your body speaks before you do. And when your body is loud, your message feels unstable. Confident people move less, but mean more. Every movement is deliberate. Every gesture supports the message instead of distracting from it. Slow is smooth. Smooth is confident. Now let's talk about filler words. Like, you know. Basically, these are not language habits. They are hesitation habits. Filler words are the mind buying time because it doesn't trust silence. And when you don't trust silence, others don't trust your certainty. Silence is not awkward. Silence is authority. When you pause, you signal that you are in control of the pace. You signal that you don't need to rush to be heard. You signal confidence, even if you don't feel it yet. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. You act first. You pause first. You slow first. Your body teaches your mind how to feel. Now let's address over-explaining. Over-explaining is one of the biggest confidence killers. It comes from a hidden belief. If I don't justify myself, I won't be accepted. That belief is rooted in self-doubt. The opposite of self-doubt is not confidence. It's self-trust. When you trust yourself, you don't need to convince. You state. You decide. You move on. Over-explaining communicates uncertainty. It says, I'm not sure this is enough. And when you don't think it's enough, neither does the listener. Confident communication is concise. Not because confident people have less to say, but because they trust what matters. Slow is smooth. Smooth is confident. Here's the paradox. The less you try to impress, the more impressive you become. Because restraint signals certainty. Let's be clear. Calm is not passive. Calm is not weak. Calm is not disengaged. Calm is contained energy. It's power that isn't leaking. And contained energy commands attention. This is why leaders speak slower. Why negotiators pause longer. Why experienced professionals don't rush to respond. They know that pace is leverage. You are not your doubts. You are the one setting the tempo. So here is your discipline for this chapter. Slow everything down by 10%. Your walking pace, your speech, your responses. Not dramatically, deliberately. When someone finishes speaking, pause before you reply. Let the silence do some of the work. When you make a point, stop talking. Don't chase agreement. Confidence doesn't need applause. It needs clarity. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. And choosing calm behavior is an action. Every time you resist the urge to rush, explain, or fill space, you are building self-trust. You are proving to yourself that you can tolerate silence, stillness, and presence. That proof compounds. Slow is smooth. Smooth is confident. Let me say this plainly. If you want to project confidence, stop trying to sound confident. Start sounding certain. Certainty comes from self-trust. Self-trust comes from follow-through. And calm is how that trust is expressed. This is not about personality. This is about discipline. You don't need to be louder. You need to be clearer. You don't need more words. You need more weight behind fewer words. Confidence is calm, not loud. And once you master calm, something powerful happens. You stop reacting. You start choosing. You stop performing. You start deciding. You've learned how to act. You've learned how to trust yourself. You've learned how to regulate your body. You've learned how to communicate calm. Now it's time to remove the final barrier to confidence, the need for approval. You've mastered restri. NT. Now let's master direction. Chapter 5. Stop performing. Start deciding. Most people are not lacking confidence. They are lacking direction. And when direction is missing, performance takes over. You try to sound right. You try to look capable. You try to say what will be accepted. That is not confidence. That is approval seeking. And confidence collapses the moment you seek approval instead of direction. Here is the shift that changes everything. Confident people stop performing and start deciding. Decisions create gravity. Decisions create clarity. Decisions create safety. Decide. Adjust later. Say it again. Decide. Adjust later. Let's talk about performance. Performance is when your attention is on how you're being perceived. You're scanning faces, reading reactions, editing yourself in real time. That mental split destroys presence. You cannot be confident while monitoring yourself, because confidence requires commitment, and commitment requires choice. When you perform, you are not choosing. You are waiting to be chosen, and that waiting erodes self-trust. The opposite of self-doubt is not confidence. It's self-trust, and self-trust is built by backing your own decisions. Decide. Adjust later. Confident people understand something most people don't. Indecision creates anxiety. For you, and for everyone around you. Uncertainty makes people uneasy. It signals lack of leadership. It forces others to guess, compensate, or take control. Decisiveness creates psychological safety. When you decide, you reduce ambiguity. You give structure to the moment. You give people something to respond to, even if the decision isn't perfect, because perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. Confidence comes after we take action, and decisions are action. Let's be clear, a wrong decision can be corrected. No decision cannot. This is where most people get stuck. They believe confidence means always being right, so they delay. They gather more information. They ask more opinions. They wait for certainty. But certainty doesn't come before action. It comes from action. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. And decisions create action. Think about leaders under pressure. They don't have perfect information. They have responsibility. And responsibility demands movement. So they decide. They act. They adjust. Decide. Adjust later. This is not recklessness. This is responsiveness. Performance, on the other hand, is fragile. It depends on feedback, on validation, on external cues. And when those cues disappear or turn negative, performance collapses. Direction does not collapse. Direction says, this is the path for now. And that for now is powerful. It frees you from the need to be flawless. You are not your doubts. You are the one choosing the next step. Let's talk about why decisiveness builds confidence internally. Every time you delay a decision, you send yourself a message. I don't trust my judgment. Doubt grows. Every time you make a decision and follow through, you send a different message. I can handle the consequences. Self-trust grows. Confidence follows. This is why confidence collapses when self-trust is weak. And self-trust weakens when you avoid choosing. Do what you said you'd do, again and again. Decisions are promises to yourself, even small ones. What to work on, what to say no to, when to leave, when to speak. Make them, keep them, decide, adjust later. Now let's address the fear underneath indecision. What if I'm wrong? Being wrong is not dangerous. Being passive is. Wrong decisions teach. No decisions stagnate. And stagnation is where confidence dies. Confident people are not fearless. They are willing to be wrong, because they know they can learn, adapt, and move again. That willingness is self-trust. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. You build confidence by choosing, then refining. Let's make this practical. Here is your discipline for this chapter. Limit your decision window. Give yourself a time boundary. 5 minutes. 1 hour. 1 day. Then decide. No more endless loops. No more overthinking disguised as preparation. Make the call. Choose the path. Move forward. You can always adjust later. Decide. Adjust later. Notice how your body responds when you decide. Shoulders drop. Breath deepens. Mental noise quiets. Why? Because indecision is stress. Decision is relief. Decisiveness creates psychological safety for you and others. People relax around someone who decides. They don't need to guess. They don't need to manage you. They can respond instead of compensate. And you relax around yourself. That relaxation is confidence. Not loud. Not performative. Grounded. So stop performing. Stop auditioning for approval. Stop waiting to be validated. Start deciding. Choose direction over perfection. Movement over hesitation. Trust over fear. You've learned how action creates confidence. You've learned how self-trust sustains it. You've learned how your body communicates it. You've learned how calm expresses it. You've learned how decisiveness anchors it. Now there's one more shift that changes everything. Where you place your attention. You've mastered choice. Now let's master focus. Chapter 6, Attention is Power. Where you place it shapes confidence. Most people think confidence is about being strong inside. It's not. Confidence is about where you place your attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Where your energy flows, your feelings follow. Where your feelings go, your actions unfold. If your attention is trapped inside your own head, doubt explodes. Anxiety grows. Fear becomes loud. Every step feels heavy. Every conversation feels like a performance review. This is why anxiety grows when attention turns inward. You obsess over what people might think. You question every word before you speak. You overanalyze every gesture. You anticipate every mistake. You freeze in anticipation. And in that freezing, confidence disappears. You are not your doubts. You are where you look. Your attention can either fuel doubt or fuel confidence. It cannot do both at once. Here is the truth. Attention outward creates presence. Attention inward creates paralysis. Confidence is built when you stop examining yourself and start serving the moment. Serve the moment, not your fear. Say it again. Serve the moment, not your fear. Shifting your focus from self to contribution dissolves self-consciousness. You stop performing. You stop justifying. You stop asking for approval. You begin to act. Not for validation. Not to be liked. Not to prove yourself. You act to serve the situation, the conversation, the task. You act to move something forward. You act to create impact. And when you do this, the mind quiets. The body steadies. Confidence follows action, rooted in purpose, not an ego. Think about leaders in crisis. They don't stop to assess how they appear. They don't calculate applause. They see the problem, the people, the opportunity, and they act. That's attention outward. That's confidence. That's authority. Every athlete you've admired, every speaker you've respected, every performer you've loved, mastered this instinctively. Focus outside yourself first. Serve the moment first. Self-consciousness is secondary. When you focus inward, you create tension. You tighten. You contract. You doubt. You hesitate. You freeze. When you focus outward, you release tension. You open. You move. You speak. You act. Serve the moment, not your fear. Let's make this practical. When fear shows up, ask yourself one question. What does this moment need from me? Not, how do I look? Not, what if I fail? Not, am I enough? Just, what does this moment need from me? Then act on that. Your fear is still there. Your doubt is still there. But you stop giving them power. You redirect energy into contribution. And contribution creates evidence. Evidence builds confidence. Confidence sustains action. This is also why microactions are so critical. Serve one small part of the moment perfectly, then move to the next. Each contribution compounds self-trust. Each action compounds confidence. Serve the moment, not your fear. Say it again. Serve the moment, not your fear. Here's the paradox. The less you think about yourself, the more present you become. The more present you are, the more people respond. The more people respond, the more confidence grows. And none of this depends on how you feel. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is attention applied consistently to what matters. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. And attention directs that action. So every time you feel the pull of self-consciousness, you have a choice, inward or outward. Inward feeds doubt. Outward feeds confidence. Attention is power. Where you place it shapes your entire experience. Serve the moment, not your fear. Do this enough times, and you stop performing. You stop hesitating. You stop chasing approval. You start moving with authority and purpose. The nervous system relaxes. The mind clears. The body communicates strength. Presence emerges naturally. This is the subtle secret of effortless confidence. It's not about eliminating fear, doubt, or uncertainty. It's about redirecting attention. Focus on contribution. Focus on service. Focus on the task. The rest follows. Every confident person you've ever admired mastered this. They didn't focus on their own worries. They focused on what was required. So here is your discipline for this chapter. When fear rises, take a breath, look outward, ask, what does this moment need from me? Then act decisively. Serve the moment, not your fear. Do it in conversations. Do it in decisions. Do it in actions. Do it in small daily choices. Each act of attention outward builds self-trust. Each act strengthens presence. Each act compounds confidence. You've learned how action creates confidence. You've learned how self-trust sustains it. You've learned how the body communicates it. You've learned how calm amplifies it. You've learned how decisiveness anchors it. Now you've learned where attention shapes it. The next step is learning how to speak with authority. Presence alone is not enough. Words, delivered correctly, solidify confidence and influence. You've mastered focus. Now let's master calm. Unication. Chapter 7. Repetition builds identity. Most people chase confidence as if it were a feeling. It's not. Confidence is a habit. Confidence is an identity. Confidence is a reflection of the patterns you repeat, day in and day out. You become confident by repeatedly acting like the person you respect. Not thinking like them. Not imagining like them. Acting like them. Repetition builds identity. Say it again. You are what you repeatedly practice. Here's the truth most people ignore. Affirmations alone do not create confidence. Positive thinking alone does not transform you. Writing, "I am confident," on a sticky note does nothing if your daily actions contradict it. Identity is formed by patterns, not affirmations. Your mind observes. Your body performs. Your history records. And from those records, your brain decides, this is who you are. That is why small, consistent actions matter more than grand gestures. Decide to speak up in one meeting, even if your voice shakes. Decide to finish one difficult task you've been avoiding. Decide to hold your posture, slow your movements, and act with calm presence today. Each repetition deposits into your identity bank. Each consistent act proves to yourself, I am reliable. I am capable. I am the person I intend to be. Do what you said you'd do, again and again. Here's an example. Think of an athlete training for years. They don't become great because they visualize success one time. They become great because they repeat the fundamentals thousands of times, day after day, drill after drill, practice after practice. That repetition builds identity. They are an athlete. Not, I want to be an athlete. They are one. It's the same with confidence. You are not born confident. You are forged by repetition. You are what you repeatedly practice. Every time you act like the person you respect, your nervous system learns. Your habits align. Your internal dialogue changes. Your decisions become easier. Your body signals calm authority. And when action, body, and attention align consistently, identity forms naturally. Repetition compounds over time. Small acts become patterns. Patterns become routines. Routines become identity. And identity creates effortless confidence. This is why waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. Confidence is earned through doing. Every time you practice courage, focus, decisiveness, or calm, you are programming yourself. You are teaching your mind and body a new truth. This is who I am. Repetition anchor. You are what you repeatedly practice. Let's be practical. Choose one small habit that reflects the person you want to be. One habit. Make it daily. Make it consistent. No exceptions. It could be posture. It could be decisiveness in small choices. It could be speaking calmly in one conversation per day. Repeat it. Reinforce it. Notice how your mind and body begin to align. Do it enough times, and it stops being practice. It becomes natural. It becomes you. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates identity. Identity creates unshakable confidence. Every confident person you've ever admired is simply someone who repeated the right actions long enough for identity to form. You are not your doubts. You are your patterns. You are what you repeatedly practice. Once you understand this, everything else becomes easier. Focus, presence, calm, decisiveness, contribution. All of it becomes automatic because your identity supports it. Now that identity is forming, there's one next-level skill you must master: resilience. Consistency is meaningless without the ability to persist under pressure. You've built patterns. You've built self-trust. You've built presence. Now let's master endurance. Chapter 8. Confidence is a skill you can train. Here's the truth that most people refuse to face. Confidence is not a mystery. It's not an innate trait. It's not something you are born with. Confidence is a skill. Like any skill, it improves with practice, repetition, and structured exposure. Think about learning to play an instrument. You don't magically produce music the first time you touch a piano. You press wrong notes. You fumble. You feel awkward. You make mistakes. And yet, over time, through repeated exposure, you improve. You gain control. You gain mastery. You gain confidence. Confidence works the same way. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. And exposure creates both. The problem is, most people avoid exposure. They wait for ideal conditions. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until fear disappears. Waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. Avoidance strengthens fear. Every "I'll do it later" deposits another brick in the wall of doubt. Every skipped opportunity tells your mind, you cannot handle this. Every avoidance compounds anxiety. Engagement, on the other hand, weakens it. Every time you step into discomfort intentionally, every time you face a challenging conversation, every time you take the stage, pick up the phone, or speak your mind, you are training confidence. Exposure builds evidence. Say it again. Exposure builds evidence. Let's break it down. Confidence training is structured. It's deliberate. It's not random bravado. You don't just wing it and hope for results. You choose the scenarios that matter, the situations that will stretch you, the challenges that trigger fear, and you face them consistently. Small exposures compound. Large exposures accelerate growth. The key is consistency, not perfection. You do not need to succeed every time. You just need to act. You need to engage. You need to step into the uncomfortable. Each engagement proves something to your mind. I can handle this. Each proof deposits confidence in your internal bank. Each deposit compounds. Repetition anchor. Exposure builds evidence. Here's a practical framework. Identify the situations that trigger fear or self-doubt. Break them into manageable exposures. Start small, then escalate. Engage deliberately. Act. Observe. Learn. Adjust. Repeat. Your nervous system will resist. Your mind will generate excuses. Your body will tighten. That is normal. That is the muscle you are training. That is the resistance that forges skill. Every confident person you admire has done exactly this, over and over. They didn't wait to feel ready. They felt fear. They felt doubt. And they acted anyway. Confidence is not built in comfort zones. It is forged in discomfort. Let's talk about failure. You will fail. You will stumble. You will feel exposed. That is not a problem. That is evidence in training. Failure is a teacher. Avoidance is a prison. Every failed attempt gives you feedback. Every uncomfortable encounter teaches you what works and what doesn't. Every moment of engagement strengthens self-trust. Do what you said you'd do, again and again. Confidence is not a feeling you chase. Confidence is a skill you demonstrate. And like any skill, the more you train it, the stronger it gets. Here's the golden rule. Start before you feel ready. Start with small exposures. Increase difficulty gradually. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Exposure builds evidence. Evidence builds confidence. Confidence becomes habitual. Confidence becomes automatic. Your body, your mind, your attention, your identity, they all align through repeated engagement. You are not your doubts. You are your actions. You are your exposure. You are your repeated choice to face discomfort. Once you master this principle, you gain control over fear itself. You no longer wait for confidence. You create it. You call it forth. You train it like a skill. Next, we will explore how the inner dialogue shapes this skill. You've learned action builds confidence. You've learned self-trust sustains it. You've learned presence communicates it. You've learned calm amplifies it. You've learned decisiveness anchors it. You've learned attention directs it. You've learned repetition builds identity. You've learned exposure trains it. Now let's master the conversation in your own head. Chapter 9. Borrow confidence until you build your own. Here's the hard truth most people refuse to admit. Confidence is not something you magically summon from thin air. Most of the time, it has to be borrowed until you build your own. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't wait to feel secure. You act first. You perform the behaviors of someone who is already confident. And through repetition, the feeling catches up. Act first. Feel later. Say it again. Act first. Feel later. This is how humans learn. Our brains are pattern recognition machines. Our nervous systems respond to what the body does. If you stand like someone confident, your mind interprets, I am confident. If you speak with calm authority, your mind internalizes, I can handle this. Borrowing confident behavior accelerates learning. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't suddenly feel balance. They fall. They wobble. They mimic others. They act before the skill is fully internalized. Yet over time, practice rewires the body, and balance becomes instinctive. Confidence works the same way. Let's start with the body. Posture is your fastest shortcut. Stand like someone powerful. Shoulders back. Chest open. Head high. Feet planted. Even if your heart is racing, your body is sending signals to your mind. I can handle this. Next, language. Borrow the tone, volume, and pace of someone authoritative. Speak deliberately. Pause when necessary. Avoid filler words. Slow is smooth. Smooth is confident. Your inner dialogue absorbs this rhythm. Your mind starts to trust itself in the way it speaks to others. Finally, pacing. Move like someone unshakable. Don't rush. Don't fidget. Let gestures be purposeful. Let steps be measured. Nervous energy drains away because the body has learned a new default, composed action. Repetition anchor, act first. Feel later. This is not pretending. Pretending is temporary. Borrowing is training. Borrowing rewires perception. Borrowing teaches your nervous system. I am capable. Even leaders and performers do this constantly. They borrow confidence from mentors, from peers, from personas they admire. They mimic behaviors until those behaviors become internalized. Then the borrowed confidence transforms into their own. Here's a practical framework. Identify someone whose confidence you admire. Notice how they stand, move, and speak. Emulate deliberately. Borrow their posture, their calm, their pace. Practice until it feels automatic. Every time you act, your mind rewires. Every repetition reinforces identity. You are not your doubts. You are the sum of the actions you repeat. And here's the key. You don't wait to feel ready. Waiting strengthens hesitation. You act first. Borrow the confidence. Move, speak, stand, and engage. Then the feeling arrives, inevitably. Act first. Feel later. This principle also builds self-trust. Every time you follow through with borrowed confidence, your brain records, I can handle this. Self-trust accumulates. Anxiety diminishes. Presence expands. Even small acts compound. Speaking up in a meeting. Walking into a room with purpose. Making a call you've been avoiding. Each act is borrowed confidence in motion. Each act deposits into your identity. Each act rewires perception. Remember, confidence is not magic. It is skill. It is practice. It is repetition. And the fastest way to acquire it is to borrow it until you own it. Exposure builds evidence. Repetition builds identity. Borrowing accelerates mastery. So today, choose someone to borrow from. Stand like them. Speak like them. Move like them. Even for a moment. Repeat. 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 And watch your nervous system align with the person you are becoming. You've built action. You've built self-trust. You've built calm. You've built decisiveness. You've trained attention. You've built identity through repetition. You've trained confidence through exposure. Now you will accelerate it through borrowing. Next, we move from borrowed confidence to owning it, internalizing skill into instinct. Chapter 10. Emotional control is the real status signal. Here's a truth most people miss. Status is not in the words you say. Status is not in the clothes you wear. Status is not even in the achievements you list. Status is in emotional control. Confident people feel emotion, but they are not ruled by it. They experience fear. They experience frustration. They experience excitement. But they do not hand the steering wheel of their behavior to those feelings. They feel it, acknowledge it, and respond deliberately. Feel it. Don't follow it. Say it again. Feel it. Don't follow it. Most people confuse suppression with control. They try to hide fear, anger, or anxiety. They force a smile. They force words. They force a posture. But suppression leaks. It always leaks. It shows up in micro-expressions, gestures, tension, or rushed speech. Suppression is weak. Regulation beats suppression every time. Regulation is different. Regulation is not ignoring emotion. Regulation is feeling it fully, but choosing your action consciously. Regulation is acknowledging the surge of adrenaline and then using it to move, to decide, to influence, rather than letting it dictate your behavior. This is the real power of confidence, the ability to feel deeply and act intentionally. Every situation you encounter will provoke some emotion. A sharp critique, a high-stakes decision, a confrontation, an opportunity. If you let emotion dominate, you look small. You look reactive. You look like a passenger in your own life. If you regulate, you look powerful. You look present. You look untouchable. Your nervous system communicates authority before your mouth opens. Emotional control is the true status signal. Here's how confident people practice it. Notice the emotion. Name it silently. Fear, irritation, excitement. Recognition interrupts unconscious reaction. Pause before acting. Even one deep breath delays impulsive responses. That pause is leverage. Respond deliberately. Choose the action that aligns with your goal, not your feeling. Repetition anchor. Feel it. Don't follow it. Think about athletes under pressure. They feel the pounding heart. They feel the tension. They feel the stakes. And yet, they focus on execution, not panic. They channel energy instead of letting it scatter. Their emotional control creates status, presence, and performance. The same principle applies to conversations, negotiations, leadership, public speaking. Confidence is never in denying emotion. It is in controlling its expression. Here's a practical exercise. When you notice strong emotion rising, label it. This is anxiety. This is excitement. This is frustration. Take one controlled breath. Then act deliberately. Repeat this in small, daily moments. Gradually, your nervous system internalizes the pattern. Emotional regulation becomes instinctive. Every time you respond deliberately under emotion, you deposit evidence into your confidence bank. You reinforce identity. You signal status. You teach yourself that you can feel without being ruled by fear, doubt, or excitement. You are not your doubts. You are your regulation. You are your response. You are your calm amid chaos. Confidence collapses when emotion dictates behavior. Confidence thrives when emotion informs action, but never overrides it. This is the subtle but profound signal that everyone perceives. Emotional control communicates authority, trustworthiness, and strength far more than words, gestures, or accomplishments ever could. Your discipline for this chapter. Notice your emotional peaks and consciously choose the action you want to take before responding. Feel it. Don't follow it. You've built action. You've built self-trust. You've built calm. You've built decisiveness. You've built attention. You've built identity through repetition. You've trained confidence through exposure. You've borrowed it when needed. Now, you master the final amplifier of all of this. Influence. Chapter 11. Stop negotiating with fear. Here's a reality most people misunderstand. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your advisor. It is a signal, a messenger, a nudge from your nervous system saying, pay attention. Something important is happening. But here is the crucial point. Fear is not a decision maker. Fear wants comfort, not growth. It wants you to stay in the familiar, stay safe, stay small. It whispers, don't speak up. Don't take the risk. Wait until it's perfect. Don't rock the boat. And if you negotiate with it, if you let it dictate your choices, confidence disappears. Fear advises. You decide. Say it again. Fear advises. You decide. Confidence grows when fear is acknowledged, but not obeyed. Most people try to ignore fear. They suppress it. They pretend it's not there. But suppression always leaks. The nervous system notices. Your body tenses. Your mind hesitates. Performance falters. Acknowledging fear is different. Acknowledge it. Name it. Feel it fully. Recognize that it is present. Say, "Yes, fear, I see you. I hear your warning, but I will act anyway." That is how confidence is built, through action in the presence of fear. Look at high performers, leaders, and athletes. They feel fear. They feel uncertainty. But they do not pause to negotiate with it. They act. They move. They step into discomfort repeatedly. That is how courage is trained. That is how confidence compounds. Fear will always appear. You cannot eliminate it, but you can decide not to let it run your life. Here's the framework. Notice fear immediately. Don't ignore it. Don't push it away. Label it. This is fear. This is my nervous system warning me about risk. Make a conscious choice. Decide the action that aligns with growth, not comfort. Repetition anchor. Fear advises. You decide. Let's be practical. You have a fear before a presentation. You have a fear before asking for a raise. You have a fear before initiating a difficult conversation. Acknowledge it. Feel it. Then act anyway. Every time you choose action over avoidance, you deposit self-trust. Every time you act despite fear, you prove to yourself, "I can handle this. I am capable." This is why waiting to feel confident is the wrong goal completely. Confidence is forged in the presence of fear. Confidence is built when fear is acknowledged, but not obeyed. Fear will try to negotiate endlessly. It will offer excuses, rationalizations, and what-ifs. Do not bargain with it. Do not debate it. Do not ask permission. Fear advises. You decide. Every small victory over fear compounds into larger wins. Every small act of courage reinforces identity. Every repeated decision strengthens presence. Here's your discipline for this chapter. Next time fear rises, pause, acknowledge it, name it, and act. Do not argue. Do not negotiate. Do not wait. Act. Decide. Move. Fear will always whisper. Confidence always chooses. You've learned action builds confidence. You've learned self-trust sustains it. You've learned calm amplifies it. You've learned decisiveness anchors it. You've learned attention directs it. You've learned repetition builds identity. You've learned exposure trains it. You've learned to borrow it when needed. You've learned emotional control signals status. Now it's time to take the last step, projecting that confidence effortlessly so others feel it immediately. Chapter 12. Standards create confidence faster than motivation. Here's a principle most people overlook. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel it. Some days you don't. If you rely on motivation, your confidence becomes a roller coaster. One morning you feel unstoppable, the next paralyzed. That is not how lasting confidence is built. The faster path to unshakable confidence is standards. Standards are non-negotiable rules you set for yourself. Standards define who you are and what behavior is acceptable. When standards are clear, internal debate disappears. No longer do you ask, "Should I do this? Can I wait?" The answer is already written in your code. Standards simplify decisions. Say it again. Standards simplify decisions. Think about elite athletes. They don't rely on motivation to train. Some days they feel energized, some days tired, some days distracted. Their standards, practice, repetition, technique, carry them. They act regardless of how they feel. And this consistency creates mastery. This consistency creates confidence. The same applies to social, professional, and personal life. Clear personal standards remove internal debate. You set the bar for your conduct. You set the bar for your effort. You set the bar for your presence. And then, every decision becomes simple. Does this align with my standard? Yes or no? No more negotiation with excuses. No more bargaining with fear. No more, maybe I'll wait until I feel ready. Standards beat motivation every time. Motivation is fickle. Standards are consistent. Motivation is situational. Standards are intrinsic. Motivation is noisy. Standards are silent but decisive. Here's the discipline. Define your non-negotiables. Examples: posture, punctuality, follow-through, decisive action, common pressure. When faced with a choice, check it against your standards. Act immediately if it aligns. Adjust if needed later. Repetition anchor. Standards simplify decisions. Every time you act in alignment with your standards, self-trust grows. Every repeated action reduces hesitation. Every decision made automatically reinforces your identity. Confidence compounds because it is no longer a reaction to mood or fear. It becomes the natural outcome of your consistent behavior. Clear standards also protect against external chaos. Life will test you. People will doubt you. Circumstances will fluctuate. Motivation will spike and dip. But standards do not. They are your anchor. They are the path your mind and body know by instinct. Even in high-pressure situations, standards guide action. You know exactly what to do. You don't debate. You don't negotiate with fear. You don't wait to feel ready. You act because your standards dictate it. Every confident person you've admired operates by standards, whether consciously or unconsciously. They may appear effortless, but beneath the surface, their internal rules guide every step, every gesture, every word. This is why waiting for inspiration is useless. Confidence is built on discipline, repetition, exposure, and unwavering standards. Motivation may push you occasionally, but standards carry you always. You're disciplined for this chapter. Write down 3 non-negotiable standards for yourself. Start small, start clear. Make them unbreakable. Follow them daily. Align every action with them. Watch internal debate disappear. Watch self-trust grow. Watch confidence compound. Standards simplify decisions. Standards strengthen identity. Standards create effortless confidence. You've built action. You've built self-trust. You've built calm. You've built decisiveness. You've built attention. You've built identity. You've trained confidence through exposure. You've borrowed it when needed. You've mastered emotional control. You've stopped negotiating with fear. Now the final chapters will focus on projection, making all of this visible, felt, and undenia. Bleed to others. Chapter 13, Speak Less, Mean More. Here's a principle most people get wrong. Talking more does not equal being more confident. In fact, the opposite is true. Fewer words increase perceived certainty. Every time you rush to explain, justify, or elaborate, you signal doubt, even if your content is strong. Confidence is not in the quantity of your words. It is in the weight of each one. Clarity beats volume. Say it again. Clarity beats volume. Pauses are powerful. Silence is authority. The space between words communicates more than filler ever could. When you pause, your listener leans in. When you pause, your mind gains control. When you pause, tension and fear lose their grip. Over-explaining masks insecurity. Under-explaining commands respect. When you speak with intent, each word lands like a statement, not a question. Think about the leaders you admire. Notice how rarely they over-explain. Notice how deliberate their words are. Notice the weight that comes from restraint. Pauses amplify presence. Pauses communicate certainty. Pauses are louder than nerves ever could be. Here's the practice framework. Speak intentionally. Before every word, ask, does this move the conversation forward? Does this reinforce my point? Pause often. Let silence do the heavy lifting. One measured pause projects authority immediately. 2 pauses create space for the listener to engage. Eliminate filler. Remove, I think, Every filler reduces perceived certainty. Repetition anchor. Clarity beats volume. This is why people often feel the need to fill silence with chatter. Their nervous system is trying to cover uncertainty. But covering never works. It communicates exactly what you're trying to hide: doubt. Instead, control your words. Make them deliberate. Make them few. Make them heavy. Make them certain. Let the silence around them amplify their impact. Even in high-pressure situations, negotiations, presentations, confrontations, less is more. One calm, clear sentence can shift the room. One pause can reset tension. One measured word can assert authority, far more than 5 rushed sentences ever could. Every confident person you admire has mastered this. Not because they are naturally eloquent, but because they train restraint. They measure their words. They let silence do the work. They understand, the louder the world shouts, the more authority lies in quiet certainty. Clarity beats volume. Now let's tie it to your identity and self-trust. When you speak less and mean more, your actions, your standards, and your emotional control reinforce each other. Your words align with your presence. Your presence amplifies your standards. Your standards reinforce your confidence. The nervous system notices. The mind trusts itself. The body communicates calm authority. And others perceive what you feel internally: unshakable certainty. You're disciplined for this chapter. In your next conversation, meeting, or interaction, speak intentionally. Pause deliberately. Remove all fillers. Let each word carry weight. Clarity beats volume. Repeat it daily. Train it until it is automatic. You've built action. You've built self-trust. You've built calm. You've built decisiveness. You've built attention. You've built identity. You've trained confidence through exposure. You've borrowed it when needed. You've mastered emotional control. You've stopped negotiating with fear. You've aligned standards. Now, it's time to amplify influence. The final chapter teaches projection, how to make confidence visible, palpable, undeniable. Chapter 14, Confidence is built in private. Here's the reality most people overlook. Confidence is not made in public. It is made in private. Every interaction, every performance, every decision you make in front of others is only as strong as the practice you've done behind the scenes. Bravado can carry you for a moment, but it collapses under pressure without preparation. What you practice alone shows up publicly. Say it again. What you practice alone shows up publicly. Think about musicians, athletes, and leaders. The hours nobody sees, the late-night rehearsals, the early morning workouts, the silent drills. Those are the moments where real confidence is forged. The stage, the boardroom, the spotlight only reveals what has already been internalized. Preparation reduces reliance on luck or charm. It replaces anxiety with self-trust. It replaces improvisation with authority. Every private action compounds into public mastery. The nervous system learns repetition, not intention. Your mind internalizes habit, not wishful thinking. Every moment of private discipline strengthens the automatic response. Calm, decisive, present, in control. Repetition anchor. Train when no one is watching. Let's be practical. Confidence building in private has 3 layers. Skill practice. Speak, move, and act deliberately even when alone. Record yourself. Rehearse conversations. Master posture. Mental rehearsal. Visualize high-pressure scenarios. Imagine handling challenges with calm authority. Picture your ideal self responding deliberately. Emotional conditioning. Experience discomfort intentionally. Practice staying calm under simulated pressure. Learn to feel without reacting. Every repetition compounds. Every private rehearsal is a deposit into your self-trust bank. Every instance you act deliberately when no one is watching strengthens your identity. Train when no one is watching. Confidence is not created by applause. It is created by preparation. It is created by the silent hours. It is created by showing up for yourself consistently. Even in high-stakes environments, people sense it. They sense whether you've done the work. They sense whether your confidence is borrowed or earned. They sense whether your calm authority is real or superficial. What does this mean for you? Stop relying on performance. Stop chasing the adrenaline of visible approval. Invest in private mastery. The next time you enter a meeting, a stage, or a difficult conversation, your confidence will not depend on luck. It will depend on what you've already built behind closed doors. That is the kind of confidence that is unshakable, undeniable, magnetic. Every confident person you admire is quietly relentless when no one is watching. Their edge, their authority, their presence, every ounce of it comes from private preparation. Repetition anchor. Train when no one is watching. So today, commit to yourself, rehearse, practice, visualize, prepare. Work on the habits, skills, and emotional control that will carry you when the spotlight turns on. The private work is the secret. The public confidence is the result. You've built action. You've built self-trust. You've built calm. You've built decisiveness. You've built attention. You've built identity. You've trained confidence through exposure. You've borrowed it when needed. You've mastered emotional control. You've stopped negotiating with fear. You've aligned standards. You've amplified influence. Now we arrive at the final step, making this transformation permanent, unstoppable, and visible in every moment. F your life. Chapter 15. Become the person who moves first. Here's the ultimate truth about confidence. It is earned through action, and nothing compounds it faster than consistently taking the first step. Confidence does not come from perfect timing. It does not come from waiting until conditions are ideal. It comes from moving, before certainty arrives, before fear subsides, before anyone else acts. Move first. Learn fast. Say it again. Move first. Learn fast. Think about the most respected leaders, innovators, and high performers you know. They did not wait for the perfect plan, the perfect feeling, or the perfect moment. They moved. They acted. They faced uncertainty head-on. Every small action built evidence, built momentum, and built the unshakable confidence we now admire. Confidence compounds when you consistently initiate. Every time you step forward first, you prove something powerful to yourself. I can handle the unknown. I am capable. I am not paralyzed by fear. Each act of initiation deposits into your self-trust account. Each act strengthens your identity. Each act signals authority to yourself and to others. Waiting for certainty is the enemy of growth. Fear whispers, wait. Prepare more. Do more research. Be sure. Confidence answers, I will move anyway. I will learn as I go. Repetition anchor. Move first. Learn fast. Let's break it down. How do you become the person who moves first? Recognize hesitation as a signal, not a stop sign. Fear is natural. Paralysis is a choice. Commit to action, even imperfect action. You do not need complete information. You do not need full clarity. You do not need permission. Take the step. Adjust quickly. Learn from the action. Iterate. Improve. Move again. Every mistake is feedback, not failure. This principle applies to every aspect of life, career, relationships, personal development, and leadership. The first person to speak, the first person to make a decision, the first person to take responsibility. Those are the people who set the tone, control the direction, and command respect. They move the room before anyone else acts. They create momentum. They become the standard others follow. Confidence is not found in waiting. Confidence is forged in movement. Even small steps matter. Sending that email. Making that phone call, starting the conversation, walking into the room with purpose. Each first move compounds over time. Each action trains your nervous system, reinforces identity, and expands your capacity to lead. This is the final secret. The person who moves first does not wait for certainty. They do not seek permission. They do not negotiate with fear. They act decisively, consistently, relentlessly. Move first. Learn fast. Your discipline for this chapter. Identify one area where you've been hesitating. Any hesitation, any fear, any perceived lack of readiness. Today, take the first step. Take imperfect action. Observe. Adjust. Repeat. Every step you take reinforces everything you've built in this audiobook. Action, self-trust, calm, decisiveness, attention, identity, exposure, borrowed confidence, emotional control, standards, influence, private preparation, clarity, and authority. By moving first, you internalize confidence. By moving first, you create momentum. By moving first, you teach your mind and body that you are unstoppable. By moving first, you become the person everyone notices, respects, and trusts. Repetition anchor. Move first. Learn fast. You are no longer waiting for confidence to appear. You are building it. You are practicing it. You are embodying it. You are acting. You are initiating. You are creating momentum. You are unstoppable. Congratulations. You have the map. You have the principles. You have the repetition anchors. You have the discipline. Now go. Move first. Learn fast. Become the confident, decisive, magnetic person you were always capable of being. In closing, confidence was never missing from you. It was waiting for proof. Proof that you would act without guarantees. Proof that you would move without permission. Proof that you would trust yourself before the world agreed. You now know the truth. Confidence is not something you summon, it's something you demonstrate. It lives in posture, in decisions, in follow-through, in the quiet moments where no one is watching, and you still choose courage. You don't need to erase fear. You don't need to silence doubt. You don't need to feel ready. You need to move. Every time you act despite discomfort, you deposit evidence into your identity. Evidence that says, I can be trusted, and that trust becomes calm. That calm becomes presence. That presence becomes confidence. So here is your challenge. Within the next 24 hours, do one thing you've been delaying. Not dramatically, not perfectly, but deliberately. Stand a little taller. Speak a little slower. Decide instead of defer. And then do it again tomorrow. And again the day after that. Because confidence is not built in a moment. It is built in motion. Move first. Trust yourself. And let confidence follow. You already know what to do. Now do it.